Greeting Israel, Judah, your brother DFG here. Hey, my brothers and sisters, Shabbat Shalom to each and every one of you. I'm hoping that you are celebrating Shabbat, understanding its importance in relationship to Abba Yah being pleased, with each and every one of us as we obey, his fourth commandment. Remember his Shabbat and keep his Shabbats holy or pure or sanctified. Would be a better way to say that. Brothers and sisters, we're going to go up on a journey today, and it's going to be in relationship to the Bible study lesson that we had on this past Wednesday. As you know, we get together if you're following this channel, you know that. And hopefully if you're following this channel on a regular basis, you've subscribed to the channel. But that being said, every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we come together as an assembled group of people, and we go through the Tanakh, we go through the Torah, and we go through the Apocrypha books. And we go to learn and prepare ourselves for the return of Yahuwah. We go and we prepare ourselves so that we can be strengthened in Israel and in Judah. We go because we realize that we're out of time, and this is not the time to be distracted and allowing the cares and the issues of this life to overwhelm us. Now let me give you a quick little statistic, and I'll give you some more. If you look at the title of this particular message that Yah has given us on this Shabbat, it's about artificial intelligence and the emergencies around what's going on with it and its origins. And we'll get to that, in a minute. And I shouldn't even, it is its origins, but we're also going to be talking about, is it a new thing or not? But that being said, coming back to the studying, we're here in understanding, or we're here to better understand that we cannot allow ourselves to be overwhelmed with the issues and the cares of this life. And I know that might sound like an easy thing to say for some of you guys. Some of you guys are probably saying, well, that's an easy thing for you to say. You don't know my life. True, I don't know your life, nor do you know mine. None of us really know any of our lives, because most of our lives is living right up here. That's where we live most of our lives, in our minds. So who can know the mind of a man other than Yahuwah? Jeremiah talked about that. Who knows the heart of a man? So when we take that position of saying, well, you don't know my situation, well, no, I don't. But nor do you or any of us know the situation that's going on in one's mind. And therefore, we put ourselves at the mercy to artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is at war against the mind of man, because the mind in man makes him one with Yahuwah, Alua. And I'm going to say that again to my brothers and sisters. The oneness of mind with Yahuwah is the sole purpose of man. Solomon talked about that in Ecclesiastes chapter 12. At the end of the day, what is the most important thing? To obey Yah by keeping his commandments, right? To be one with Elohim, to be one with Yah. But artificial intelligence has given man an alternative, another God, a competing God. And we're going to study and we're going to search that out in today's study as we connect it again back to what we were studying this past Wednesday evening. And I'm seeking and trusting Elohim that for all of those of us who are overwhelmed, and if you look at the heathen statistics, talking about, the data keepers of the heathens, even they have to admit that for whatever reason, right now, 1 out of 4 of them are suffering with depression. And I'm not talking about having a bad day, brothers and sisters. I'm talking about flat out mental disease or depression, because depression is a form of mental disease. When something has got your mind trapped, your body is equally going to be trapped. Diseases trap one's body. Mental disease, or depression better said, is a member of the family of diseases. It's a mental disease. Doesn't make you, for lack of a better word, a lunatic. It just means that you're overwhelmed and you're having a hard time figuring out what to do from one moment to the next. And your even bigger fear is that you're about to make a huge mistake, or something really big is going to happen to you and you're not going to be able to recover from it. So therefore, you're overwhelmed. Artificial intelligence is there to help you skate through that, or really ignore the human factor, because it gives you a better alternative. At least that's the story that's being told. But in giving you that alternative to finding the true oneness with Abba Yah Elohim, it gives you their God, their information, and trust that you would trust the process, that you would trust the technology, you would trust the advancement. And right now, just to give you an idea of just how dangerous artificial intelligence is, ChatGPT right now is 1,000 smarter, 1,000% smarter than any human being on this earth. 1,000% more intelligent. ChatGPT, 1,000%. According to the heathens, if Yah was to allow it, and he isn't, but let's just say, for the sake of their argument, because they want to replace Abba Yah, so they want to tell you, what year this is going to happen and what year is that going to happen, as though they know what tomorrow is going to bring. They only know what their gods tell them, and their gods lie to them all the time through their magic, sorcery, etc. But they're stating and claiming by the year of 2045 that artificial intelligence will be 1 billion times smarter than men. That's 1 billion with a B. Now, if artificial intelligence is going to be 1 billion times smarter than any human being, how smart do you have to be to realize that you won't be needed anymore? Your job, your career, your children doing better than you. Unless your child is an AI, that won't be a challenge you'll be facing. And if you let, some of them with Neuralink, they're already talking about integrating, the children with artificial intelligence, Neuralink, which means it's no longer a human. But then that's just something else again. It's not new. It's just new to this generation, because we don't know what we don't know, brothers and sisters. So my intention here is to try to narrow that gap of knowledge between what was hidden, what's being exposed, and what can be done about it. And that's a big leap there, what can be done about it. But where we may fall or fail to have answers, Yahuwah does have answers. And this channel is about that, warning my brothers and sisters, Israel, of what is to come in these last days. And when you hear the last days, it's always, it's funny, it's this gloom and doom. Last days is not about gloom and doom. Last days is about preparation. Gloom and doom is when you have given up or you're depressed, like 1 out of 4 of them are, according to their numbers, when they're caught in that snare of, I don't know what to do next. So therefore, let me turn to drugs, alcohol, idolatry, sorcery, divinations, enchantments, neuromancy, say it the right way, witchcraft, sorcery. And we see it happening right before our eyes. You can turn on almost any award program and you'll see a neuromancy going on. Celebrating, they always say their God or their Baphomet God, that foolishness and that stuff. And I'm doing it so you know what you're looking at. They're signaling and signing all the time, that kind of stuff. And most of our people, we're applauding it and we're cheering it on, not realizing that all you're doing is is bringing on your demise. But see, when you're right before Abba Yah, my brothers and sisters, you don't have to concern yourself with the fear of the end of days. Abba Yah has sent his messengers to warn you. That's his love for Israel. And we're going to see it as he did with Moses, the first Exodus. He sent his messengers to warn us, to warn you, so that you don't have to sit around and be afraid. Fear, that's wisdom. Being afraid, that's borderline cowardliness. And if we are part of the ever-living creator, one sovereign Elohim, Yahuwah, Alua, what would we be afraid of? What do we have to be afraid of? Certainly not what these heathen men can do to us, because Abba Yah will not allow them to. He reminded us in Isaiah 54:17. And I hope you have, you know the drill, your saw and your hammer. He says no weapon formed against us would prosper. And he said that every tongue that would speak evil towards Abba Yah's servants, he would judge him. And his judgments are harsh. As a matter of fact, his judgment is death. Abba Yah is an avenger of the righteous. So we don't have to sit on the sideline and, and be depressed or turn to their gods or to look for answers. Their intelligence. Because I want to tell you something else about intelligence, brothers and sisters. It's not artificial. That's the lie they tell. Intelligence, how can intelligence be artificial? Especially when you see it being demonstrated and implemented and integrated in our lives every single day. It is real. It is real as the nose on your face. And if you are following along, on this particular channel, you would already know that, we've discussed some of these things that these fallen ones came down to teach men, the watchers, their children who are still here, all kind of sorcery and weaponry and intelligence. Enoch 7 and Enoch 8 talks about that. Books that were intentionally hidden so that we would not know what they were up to. But Abba Yah told us in these last days, what would he do, brothers and sisters? He said he would increase the knowledge. And who did he say would understand it? The fearful? The unbelieving? No. He said the wise amongst us would understand. Because the wise among us trust in Yahuwah. And we don't put our trust in nothing made with the hands of men. And we don't put our trust in things of science or sorcery or devils or demons or evil spirits, incantations. We understand that they are real. When that word artificial comes in, what happens is that it's a little deceptive. It tries to make you believe, brothers and sisters, or make us believe that it's just a machine. And at the end of the day, if it's a machine, it can be controlled. Yeah, if it's your tractor, your lawnmower, to some degree maybe your automobile, your coffee pot, your toaster, your microwave, you may be able to turn it off and on. But this kind of intelligence they're talking about is that you don't, it's beyond the power of a man. Not beyond the power of Abba Yah. But again, who are you serving? If you're serving the gods of this world, then yes, it has power to do to you what it's going to do to you. And ultimately, its plan is to replace every living being that's not of their seed. That is not of their kind. They call it what? Depopulation? So we're at a crossroads, brothers and sisters, with AI. And if you don't understand what it is, and you're over there exposing yourself to it and exposing your children to it without any, understanding of the dangers that's involved and the snare that it is to trap them, then your soul is in danger. And so as those that you love, or at least profess to love. So that being said, before we get into the study, we're going to look at some of the definitions of some of the sorcery. We're going to go back and look at, I took a couple of notes about, AI. Here's a note that I have here. What is intelligence? What is the intelligent ability, awareness of your, AI is the intelligence of your, the awareness. AI is artificial intelligence. If you look at its pure definition, it is the intelligence or the ability to be aware of your surroundings and to analyze it and make sense of it. Does that sound artificial to you? The intelligence to be aware of your surroundings and the ability to make sense of it. Because that's how they defined intelligence or artificial intelligence. In other words, they're trying to go beyond the stars. They want to go beyond the heavens. No different than what Nimrod and that group was doing in the building of the Tower of Babel. They're looking for a confrontation with Yahuwah Alua, the creator. And they're using men as guinea pigs to get there. And there's been no great guinea pig like the Israelite for the heathens, for their medical experiences, advancements, technology. Even the most recent advancement in technology. You don't know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the real big one. Well, Israel became the target when it originated, yet before it originated, at its origins, we weren't even mentioned in terms of those who will be at risk. Come on, follow along, you're pretty smart. Then somehow or another, in a matter of time, we went from a non-concern to the major concern. And then all of a sudden, there were lottery tickets being handed out. Free hamburgers, snowballs, $100 bills. Because after all, Mama and Pawpaw, what would they want you to do? Remember? And then all of a sudden, we became ill, many of us, many of you, especially if you trusted the science, jab. Got it? And now, depression may not be the biggest problem for that Israelite. Their biggest problem is something else now. Will I live to see my children grow up? Will I live to see tomorrow? Why can't I think clear anymore? Why have all of a sudden I'm achy? Can't stand up, short of breath. Can't breathe. Clotting. Where are these clots coming from? Why is my chest hurting? I think I've given you about every hint I could give you without actually saying what it is you should already know I'm talking about. All in the name of wellness. But we led them to us. We led them through their artificial intelligence. You might say, well, DFG, what are you talking about? And brothers, I know of some of you may think, well, brother, get to the point. I won't get there. But I'm going to go the path that Abba Yah sends me. So if you have something else to do, your brother understands. You can always come back. But they talk to us about Ancestry.com. Put a little spin on it. Send it off. And we'll tell you where you came from. And there we were, right in line. Am I speaking against it? No, I'm just saying it was a part of the snare, the trap, to understand who we are. Not as a people. They know who we are as a people. We don't know. They've always known. How interesting, they can track you back to Africa all of a sudden now, right? Through your spit, saliva. But what they did not tell us is that we're looking at what was inside of that saliva, the genetic makeup, and how to alter it, or better yet, how to attack it. Not a doctor. This is not scientific information. This is just for conversation. I think I'm supposed to say that. But beyond that, my brothers and sisters, is a greater understanding that through their technology, they've been able to not only identify us again, but to proceed in the elimination. And we fell into that because we didn't know who we were. And we were trying to find out who we were, never realizing that Abba Yah had left us a map with all the information you could ever need in terms of who Israel is. They call it the Bible. We call it the Tanakh. Yeah. This thing. Look how big our history book is. Now this little part right here, that's the part of their lie. It's about as thick as their lie part. Their replacement theology, that's pretty much them. The new covenant, that thing. But see, the rest of this is us. And they're trying to tell many of us that this replaced that. This little bit of knowledge replaced all of this history. And they made up characters and gave them names and gave them position, gave them authority to spew out their lies. That's all I need to say about that. But we're going to get into this, the depths of it, something else about it. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything here, my dear brothers and sisters. I'm sure Abba Yah will pull us back if there's something else he needs me to share. Hallelujah. And this is what I want to say to my brothers again. Remember, as we go through this study, no weapon formed against you will prosper if you put your trust in the one sovereign, Allah, Yahuwah. If you are afraid right now, it's because you're probably looking into all kind of other materials trying to find truth, trying to find confirmation. Again, all of that information, all that other material out there that comes around identified, including religion, to find, what is that? A Course in Miracles and, a purpose-driven life and your best life now. All of these materials and many, many more. The Kemet books on Hinduism and meditation, yoga. I was talking to a dear sister, one of our dear sisters last night, and I was telling her, when it comes down to meditation, we don't go into the Eastern religions or the African sciences to find meditation. All of that's idolatry. When my book tells us what meditation is, you can go right to the book of Psalms, chapter 1, And it tells you where meditation starts for Israel. And meditation for Israel starts in Abba Yah's Torah. And how do you meditate in the Torah? You go and you find, again, Psalms chapter 23. The Lord is my shepherd. 23rd Psalms is the way they say it. You break it down verse by verse. You memorize it. And if you already memorize it, you reflect on it. What does it mean to me? What does verse 1 mean to me? What does verse 2 means to me? What does verse 3 means to me? What does verse 4 means to me? And you meditate on it. You think about it. You review it in your mind. And when you do that, what you do is strengthen your inner self. Your soul becomes fed. Because it takes your mind off of whatever it is that's attacking, that's got you under the rest, or got you afraid, or has you afraid. That's what he said. Meditate on my Torah, my promises. You can go into, again, here's another one. Numbers chapter 6. Check this out, brothers and sisters. 24. You want something to meditate on. This is how we feed ourselves. What the book says? Those that wait upon Elohim shall renew their strength. Isaiah, what is that? Chapter 40, verse 17. Those that wait upon Abba Yah, waiting on Abba Yah is another form of meditating. It's interacting, reflecting upon him and his promises for you, for us. But look at Numbers. Here's another one. Numbers 6 and 24. Yahuwah bless me. It says you. Yahuwah guard me, or guard you. Yahuwah make your face shine upon me, meaning you. Yahuwah be gracious unto me, meaning me, you, gracious. Yahuwah lift up your light or your power, your countenance upon me, meaning you. And give me peace, calm in the midst of the storm. That's how we are instructed to meditate. And it goes beyond that. Another example, Psalm chapter 37, verse 25. David said it. David said, I was once young, and now I am old. But he said, I've never seen the righteous forsaken, and their children begging bread. That's what you meditate upon. The scripture. And brothers and sisters, I'm not speaking this from a position of an instructor as much as I'm speaking from a position of a doer. You don't get to live as long as I've lived, and many of us have lived and not have gone through very, very tough things. We've seen loved ones come and go. People we broke bread with, people we raised, some of us, our children. Parents who loved us, that we thought we would have them forever, and they're gone. Loss of material things that we thought was the answer to, to living a significant life, a purposeful life. Only realized they were just superficial things that turned us in many cases and pulled us in many cases away from Yahuwah, our true purpose. The thing that mattered above all things. And we've learned, some of us, 1/3 of us, that in our meditation, in our study, in our prayer life, in our praise life, in our identifying who we are in this life, it has opened up the kingdoms of Abba Yah to us. What do you say? What do you mean, brother, the kingdom? I'm talking about an assurity that when this short lifespan is done, that we will reign supreme. Because all of the promises of Abba Yah that he intended for the first man will be restored and multiply beyond any of our imaginations. And I'm taking it right from the book. What did Isaiah tell us? Eye is not seen, ear is not heard, neither has it entered into your mind the things that Abba Yah has prepared for them. So we know about paradise, but we don't know what's beyond paradise. We don't know what's better than that, but it's coming. It's coming. But if we put our trust in man and what man can do, the sciences and what scientists can do, we're going to miss the boat. We're going to just be just like those people in the days of Noah when the flood came. All right, we get it. Open the door. We're ready to come in. We come in. Come on, let us in now, Noah. It's raining out here. And what did Noah tell them? As many of our people are going to hear, sorry, too late. Too late. I pleaded with you. I tried to guide you. I took and opened up the book to show you. But you rather believe the lie. You rather follow the crowd. After all, how can y'all be right and all these people be wrong? But if you know the book, as we are learning the book, then you will realize that 8 people were saved. That was 8 people out of over 700,000 who were not. But the 700,000 had heard the truth. They just rejected the truth because the truth was interfering with their lives. The truth was interfering with their comfort. The truth was interfering with their tradition, of having fun. And then when that first raindrop hit the ground, it didn't stop. And they were destroyed. They pled with Noah to let them in. And Noah said, hey, look, I'm not trying to hear y'all guys now. Even if he wanted to, he couldn't do anything about it. It was Yahuwah's doing. See, what's coming right now, brothers and sisters, it's Yahuwah's doing. I know many people think it's man and it's technology and it's a science and all of these things. No, even the AI is Abba Yah's doing. He's allowing it to happen. Because he's about to show these heathens who is Elohim. And he's going to take their forefathers, those who were hidden, who's teaching them that technology. Again, Enoch 7, Enoch 8. He's going to show their fathers who've been here since the fall. They've been here. They didn't go anywhere. Abba Yah didn't kill the watchers, brothers and sisters. If you go back and read Enoch chapter 105, they left their seed here, but their fathers did not die. Their fathers were put into the ground, under the earth, under the surface of the earth, down, in the earth. That's why they go down in the earth. Deep underground military bases, that sound familiar? Antarctica, under the ground. You see nothing above the ground, but you have to go in the ground. They're bunkers. They're running to their caves. They're bunkers now. Because that's where their forefathers are. Their forefathers have always been there. How do you think all these so-called wonders of the world were made? Who taught them to do that? Who gave them the technology to do it? Again, Enoch 7 and 8. And more. But the bases are right there. Who's teaching, all the debauchery that's going on right now on this earth? Their forefathers coming through other portals. That's why they do the rituals. When you go to a ball game, you see rituals going on. Entertainment, rituals going on. Events, ritual going on. Standing up, singing their songs. The national anthems. All of the countries has them. Who do you think they're celebrating? Who do you think they're paying homage to? Yahuwah? Of course not. They're paying homage to their gods. And many of our people have been duped or seduced into doing the same thing, thinking that we're looking at Yahuwah. Because they gave us their gods and showed us that their God had power, so we trusted that their God must be God because we didn't realize that there were two different things going on the whole time. One was artificial, competing against one who is not, never has been. And now, the day has come for judgment. The redeemed, the elect of Abba Yah, will be tried through the fire, as we were told, but we will come out as fine gold. But the wicked, the abominable, those who hate the truth, those who love the ways of the heathens, those who can't seem to realize that the heathens have never had their best interests in mind, they just use them as servants. They're going to recognize, as they did in Noah's day, they should have hearkened. They should have listened. They should have been spending time in meditation and reflection with Yahuwah. They should have been studying his Torah. They should have been teaching his Torah, even to their children. They should have known that you don't roll up your sleeve and let anybody give you anything that they can't validate and you didn't necessarily need. But see, when you go into that darkness, I'm talking about in idolatry, how great is that darkness? Common sense goes right out the window. But I guess it brings back that truth. Common sense is not common. And here we are, my brothers and sisters, at a crossroads again. In other words, the final days. And that could be weeks. That could be months. For some, that could be in the next 11 seconds. Can we do it? Someone just died. It just ended for someone. Judgment has just befallen them. So who has time to be running around talking about they have time? Who has time to be walking around talking about, oh, they're just using scare tactics? Really? There's not enough cemeteries around you that you don't understand that no one is scaring you when they're telling you your life is going to come to an end. That's a fact. But most of us don't want to deal with it because we're too busy trusting their gods. And hopefully one day, as they say, they'll find a way that man becomes immortal. Through technology. See, we're right back to where we started, which opens where I'm going. The God particle, is that not what they were looking for in CERN when they opened up that portal? The God particle. What makes it all works? What makes it all work? Where is the essence of life? The Big Bang, where did it come from? Who did it? Can it be replicated? Can we embrace it? Can we integrate with it? They're trying. They are trying. They're succeeding. But only to a certain level. And then just as Yah showed itself strong in the Tower of Babel, showed itself strong in the days of Noah, showed itself strong in our first Exodus, he's about to do it again. The question is, where will you be? Whose side will you be on? That's your question. That is your question. If you're here, then that's what we're helping one another to understand or to clarify which is the right side. And we're not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. I'll say it that way. I suspect I'm not alone in that confession. But we all have to have that moment where we have to step back and ask ourselves the question, what are you doing? What am I doing? Why am I here? And what am I doing? What am I spending my time doing? Am I using my time productively, learning who I am, learning who Abba Yah is, and trusting him, and taking action as I trust him? Or am I sitting over here, just, following every little new thing, every little new invention, every new phase, entertaining myself into a drunken stupor of ignorance, because I call it ignorance because it does not edify anything. It does not change one's life. It gives them the assumption that their lives has changed. That's why they can change their faces. You can use Chat GPT to write for you, to sound like you, to replace your music. In other words, again, these demons are literally eliminating us right before our very eyes. At least they're attempting to. And most of our people are right there cheering them on. Boy, wasn't that a great show? Never realizing you're like a circus seal. Ultimately, they'll be done with you. Then what? But let's go over to the book of Jasher, and we're going to read about what was happening in the Exodus. I know somebody say, well, brother, I can go to Exodus chapter 7 and find all that out. You can go to Exodus chapter 7 and find some of that out. But again, the Apocryphal books are here to support the Torah, to support the Tanakh. It was always here for that. Not a new thing. It was just hidden from us. Abba Yah doesn't do anything incomplete, brothers and sisters. He doesn't leave out the details. If the devil was in the details, do you think Abba Yah would not be? We're all familiar with that term. The devil was in the details. It's the small foxes that spoil the vine. So is he more clever than his creator? No, he is not. Can't hold a candlestick to Abba Yah. None of his gods can. Talking about Satan's. None of them can, the fallen ones. The ones who taught men to rebel against Abba Yah. By creating gods, competing gods. I'm using the word gods, because I don't want to use the word Elohim for them. I know what it means. So they created their own gods, and they used those gods to compete against the one sovereign creator, Abba Yah, Eloah. And they taught men to serve those gods by giving those men rewards for their service. Power, money, influence, resources, entertainment, sex. All they were asking for in return was a little blood. Give me your babies. Give me your sons. Give me your daughters. And I'll give you what you want. And if you look at what's been going on in Planned Parenthood, what's almost 70 million strong over the last 35, 40 years, you will understand those gods are well pleased. And that's why you see the wonders that you're seeing today. But that's also why you see the mass death that you're seeing today. Vengeance is mine, says Abba Yah. I shall repay. Yahuwah. Okay, let's get over here. The book of Jasher. And remember, brothers and sisters, this lines right up with Exodus chapter 7. Okay? And again, if you really want to catch up to where we are and what we're teaching and what we're learning together, then there's a great opportunity for you to journey on the Bible study. We don't ask you to agree with anything. We don't get on a study and stop in the middle of the study, say, y'all agree with me or disagree with me? Who thinks I'm right? We don't get into any of that. We share the book, we share the knowledge, and then we ask at the end if you have any questions, and if you don't, we bid each other's Abba speed, and then we go on about the rest of our evening. There's no risk involved here. It's only teaching and learning information. You do with that information what you will. We don't have a religion. We're not an assembly or a cult of people. We don't have a camp. Do we seek to come out? Absolutely. But our studies are for information purposes, so that we would learn and that we would have a like-minded group for those of us who are like-minded, fellowshipping with one another, encouraging each other, praying for one another, seeking Abba Yah's, destiny or real purpose for whatever we have left of our life here, with the hopes that he'll do wonderful and great things for us when the shit hits the fan. As long as we're doing our part. He says, what? When you walk through the fire, I will be with you. Is that not Isaiah 43? He said, when you walk through the fire, I will be with you. But again, he said, when you walk through the fire. So in essence, you have to be doing something. Some of our people, unfortunately, have misunderstood a relationship with Abba Yah as, well, I just do nothing but wait and trust him. No, he did not say that. When you pass through the waters, I will not allow you to drown. You have to be doing something, brothers and sisters, other than just sitting around waiting. If you get caught waiting, you're going to get caught left behind. I'm going to say that to you one more time. I'm just forewarning you. When it says wait upon Abba Yah, it means that you're trusting him as you make your decisions. Listen to him. Meditate upon his word. Seek his guidance. Seek seek him for understanding to increase your wisdom. That's what he's talking about. Listen, hearken, give ear. Not talking about, being, complacency, stagnant, waiting to die. You don't have to wait to die. Die will meet you. It's right around your corner. Your day, you have a day. You don't have to wait. It knows how to find you. It brings back to my mind that little statement in Andy DeVoe when he was talking to the Morgan Freeman character in Shawshank Redemption, the movie Shawshank Redemption. What did he tell him? Get busy living or get busy dying. Too many of our people are busy dying, waiting to die, when Yah has work for you to do. It doesn't matter what your age is. Your age has nothing to do with it. You'll see here in Moses. Moses didn't even really start his movement towards the helping and doing Abba Yah's will in his life until he was 80 years old. 80. And this has nothing to do with, well, people lived a lot longer back then. No, they did not. There was a cap after the days of Noah that said a man year would be 120 years. They weren't living to be 800 and 900 years old in Moses' day. That's not true. He had 40 years of living to do. And I think we'd all have to agree, Moses got more out of 40 years than most people would have gotten out of 100. So if you're sitting around because you passed the age of 50, talking about you just waiting, then you're going to be left behind. It's going to end up happening to you if you're doing nothing. Well, I stay away, because I know that I'm not by myself, and this is not to call out anybody. So please don't take this personal. One of the things we have to learn how to do as Israel is get out of our feelings. I understand we are an emotional people. I get it. But we can't be so emotional that when information comes up about our behavior that all of a sudden we shut down. No, we need to embrace it. Who Elohim loves, he corrects as a father corrects a son. We know that. And I said that to say this statement. There is no such thing as you being on a one-to-one relationship with Abba Yah by yourself, and that's all you need. That is not true. That is self-deception. Abba Yah said it's not good for a man to be alone. That means woman too. And I'm not talking about the union of marriage. When he saw Adam, he wasn't talking about, oh, I need to give him a wife. He was talking about, no, he can't be alone here on this earth. It's not good. It's not healthy for him. He's going to turn in on himself, herself. Then he needs company. See, the heathen twist everything because they're trying to separate you. That's what they want you to do, to be caught out here by yourself alone. So when the wolf does come knocking on your door, there's no one in there to protect you. Yah will. That's what you say. But you don't take in consideration how many people have been assaulted and attacked by themselves who also believed and Yah didn't. And that's all I'm going to say to you about that. Stop. You have brothers and sisters out here who are like-minded, who will never reject you if you come with the right mindset. You come humble. You come in peace. You come in love. You come in understanding. You come in giving. You come in sharing. You come in supportive, in supporting. It is not good for any of us to be alone. That makes no sense. In this wicked earth, can you imagine what a sheep, let's just take a gazelle. With a herd, the chances of that gazelle surviving a lion attack is probably 100 to 1. If they got 100 of them out there, 99 of them are going to survive that attack. 99. But see, if there's one gazelle out there and the lions come, what do you think is going to happen to that gazelle? It has zero chance of surviving. Zero. It's the lie that they tell, be by yourself. You stay alone by yourself, you can make it. No, you open your door, you open yourself up to be attacked doing that. Especially when Abba Yah said that it's not good for you to be alone. Not good for us to be alone. Assemble yourself, you like-minded Israelites. Come out from among them and be ye separate. The heathens teach all this isolation stuff. That's them. Because they're so selfish and afraid somebody's going to take their little stuff from them that they'll come up with any clever thing to justify, their possessiveness. We are a nation. We are community people, Israel. We are people of community. We're most miserable when we're sitting around by ourselves, those of us that are in our right minds. All of us are not. Some of us are taking on the ways of the heathen. We found a way to justify it. Well, if I'm not around nobody, I don't have to do nothing for anybody. Nobody has to ask me for anything. So therefore, I'm good. That sounds pretty damn selfish. But you do with that information what you may. But I can tell you one thing, you're not getting bad wisdom from me. This is not bad counsel. Our book says that what does Solomon say? A wise man or woman surround themselves with wise counsel. In other words, wise counsel is not somebody going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to tell you what you need to know. But we run from that when it's not what we want to hear. Well, no, I'm done with them. Let me unsubscribe. Whatever it is. Just petty silliness. I mean, you should just stick around and be patient and wait it out to see what Yah is doing through them for you, through me to see you. And I'm not sovereign. I'm sovereign in myself, but I'm not alone in the purpose here. But I use myself in first person because I'm the one talking to you right now. And I'm not an invisible man, so I'm not going to pretend to be invisible. I said it, and I'm accountable to what I said before Yahuwah. And I think I have the mind of Elohim in this moment of time. Because I'm edifying him and his people and warning us against the dangers of isolation, the danger of chasing the heathens, trying to find love in all the wrong places, trying to find purpose in nothingness, purpose in death. If death waits around the corner, what block are you on? And what are you doing on the block? Remember what we're studying. We're studying about the first Exodus so we can remember what's going to happen in the very soon Exodus, second Exodus that's coming, and how that information intelligence increased because they were using it to turn men against Abba Yah, to get men to trust in men, trust in themselves. And they used the church, religion, government, science, and all of that brotherhood, sisterhood, to make it happen. We're here to call it out and remind you to resist the devils. Plural. The book of Jasher, chapter 79. In those days, Moses was feeding the flock of Ruel, the Midianite, his father-in-law, beyond the wilderness of Sin, and the stick which he took from his father-in-law was in his hand. That's the rod. And if you've been following along, you know that Moses was in prison. The same father-in-law imprisoned him for 10 years. And his daughter supported him in prison, kept him fed. That's what I mean. Gave him food and water. She didn't pay his bills. Right? But she took care of him to make sure he could survive, that he had the basic necessities. And then ultimately, he was released. And when he was released, he came out praising and thanking Abba Yah. And he said, man, you got me through this tough time. Wow. And then, lo and behold, he looks over to right or left, and there he saw the rod, the deliverance to that rod. And it had been sitting there for years, over 10 years, over a decade. Many men tried to pull it out. Many men tried to say, I want it, because they came with rewards. But Yah said, no, this is not for any of you heathens. This is for my called out man, Moshe. Because he is the one that I've called to do the work that I have assigned him to redeem my people back to me. As he's using some of us today to do exact same thing. So now he's out in the field working for this guy. Moses is a very patient man, let me tell you. But the book says he was the most meek man upon the earth, because I think I'd have took that rod myself and cracked that devil upside his head. But see, that's why he picked Moses and not David. Because see, David would have taken that damn sword and chopped that filthy Philistine head off. Or he wasn't a Philistine, but he was a heathen. But again, all of us have different assignments. So, whatever, right? Just, it is what it is. So, verse 2. And it came to pass that one day a kid of the goats strayed from the flock, and Moshe pursued it, and it came to the mount of Yahuwah at Chlori. C-H-R-O-V, Shov, is the way I'm going to say it. But brothers and sisters, let me say something to you. Honey, I know you're going to how the hell you come up with honey in the middle of the message, Brother DFG? Look, Abba Yah has been putting honey on my mind left and right. If you think about the nutrition value of raw honey, and I'm not promoting anybody's honey. I don't have a contract. I don't have a honey sponsor, and I wouldn't take one if it was offered. I do this work for Abba Yah and Abba Yah's people. If Abba Yah people don't see fit to support me, then I guess I just will be, eating milk and honey. Hallelujah. It is what it is. All right. I'm doing my job. Hopefully you'll do yours. But that being said, if you look through our book, there were many times when the babies were separated from their mother because of the wickedness of the Pharaoh. He sent them out where? In the wilderness, and out in the fields. And what was in that field? milk, and what? Honey. When Jonathan had gone out to fight against the heathen because of Saul, who was, always calling into question every commandment that he was given, wavering-minded. I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it my way, not your way, but I'm going to do it some of your way, yeah, but not all the way because, I got all these people and I can't piss nobody off, so I'm going to have to you're going to have to accept me as I am. And I'll say, I'll be damned if I will. But remember, he passed that oath, that covenant with the people and told them that no one could eat. And Jonathan wasn't around. And his armor bearer wasn't around when he told them that. So when Jonathan and the armor bearer came back, they saw some honey. He put his sword down into the honey and he ate some of it. And it said it brightened his countenance. It strengthened him. It made him strong. When our people were promised to go into the promised land, what did he say? Go into the land filled with what? Milk and honey. What am I saying, brothers and sisters? A lot of our brothers and sisters are dealing with immune deficiency issues. Sicknesses that are related to your immune system. What I'm saying, honey is a natural immune booster. Natural. Now, whether you take it or not, that is up to you. But Yah has put that on my heart, and he told me to tell my brothers and sisters that a lot of the things that you're dealing with, catching colds frequently, or congestive issues, not giving you medical information. I am not a doctor. I have no grounds for certification for this. This is just friend talking about it. We're just having a friendly conversation. But me, I take honey every day. And I'm going to say this to you, my brothers and sisters. It's working for me. It's working for me. And again, we're not here to boast about anything. So I'm surely not going to get into any kind of boasting, but I'm not on any medication. None. Yeah. I'm over 60, so there you have it. None. Average day, y'all willing, when I can, 10,000, 12,000. One day last week, 22,000 steps. That's almost 12 miles. It wasn't fatigue. That was just a part of my day, not my entire day. And I'm not the only one. So just keep it in mind. That's all I'll say about that. And my brothers, if you email me, say, Brother DFG, you seem like you wanted to tell us one more thing about that honey, but you wouldn't say it. You didn't want to say it. Then go to the About page, go to the email address, and then email and say, Brother, what was that you didn't want to say on the public platform? Because you had a little funny smile on your face, and I got the impression that it would put a smile on my face if I knew why that smile was on your face. And I'll leave it at that. If you do, I'll tell you then. Just say, hey, what was the smile about? All right, let's get on. Sorry for the distraction, but we're talking about healthy living here, brothers and sisters. A healthy body goes with a healthy mind, and a healthy mind strengthens your resolve for Abba Yah. So it's all tied in. Verse 3. And when he came to Shorah, Yahuwah appeared there unto him in a thorn bush. And he found the thorn bush burning with fire, but the fire had no power over the thorn bush to consume it. So the bush was on fire, but the bush wasn't burning. And we all know that story from Exodus, and we surely know it from the heathens' versions of, the Ten Commandments or whatever movie they have out there lying, adding characters and colorizing, whitewashing our people. But anyway, the bush would not burn, even though it was on fire. And that's a lot in that. And Moshe was greatly astonished at the sight. Therefore the thorn bush was not consumed, and he approached it to see this mighty thing. And Yahuwah called unto Moses out of the fire and commanded him to go down to Egypt, to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, to send the children of Israel from his services. See, us servicing them, brothers and sisters, is nothing new. It's interesting he used the word services. like maids, gardeners, housekeepers, etc., etc. Because that's how they see us, as something to service them. And many of us in their service find some level of pride in that, not realizing that, no, this is a part of judgment for us. This is a part of the curse. They're supposed to be serving us, not the other way around. Go read Deuteronomy 28 and see what it says. It says you will be the head, not the tail. So your brother's not being bigoted or using reverse racism as these devil liars try to do to confuse us or to break the resolve to break the back of those of us who are so in love with this whole world that they hate themselves, because if somebody says you're greater than these who are lesser, because our Yah says you're greater. Oh, no, 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 I don't want to. That's hate speech, brother. Okay, whatever. I wonder what your ancestors would have to say about you with that mentality. You know, the ones who were raped, maimed, sold, hung, violated, experimented on, etc. by them whom you love so much. And I was about to go to the sword on you, this. But so many of our people get in their feelings when I bring that out. So I'll spare you the pictures of the reality that you deny. But those who fall into that, we just got to love everybody. Okay, I'll stop right there. But you were made to be on top. We were not put here to be the servants of heathens. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, go and return to Egypt, for all those men who sought your life are dead. And you shall speak unto Pharaoh, send the children of Israel from his land. It's interesting when people start talking about historical facts, they never want to talk about us and how that it was just us. It was just Israel, our people, being abused and used and babies put inside of walls, buried alive, experimented on. Through their physicians, I might add. Read a little bit farther and you'll see. Now, I don't want to get too deep into this, but they were 375 babies. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Read until you get to 375 babies. I'm just looking over here because I was going to take you over to where they were actually doing it. But one of the little wicked kings got sick and they started using our babies, their blood, and giving it to him. And no, the children didn't survive it. Sounds familiar? Nothing new under the sun. What happened before is happening again. At least over here, brothers and sisters, can we just have a moment of transparency one to another? This is what I'm going to say. We could be like some of these other folk out here fighting about how many wives one somebody can have, and fighting about, is Jesus God and God Jesus, and fighting about who are the 12 tribes and who's not. Total nonsense. Has nothing to do with the saving of one's soul. Nothing of bringing one closer to Abba Yah. We could be doing that. Is his name Allah Walla Walla, whatever them idiots talking about over there? The camp ones. He don't even know their names, so how could he know Yahuwah? Say it again slow. But no, we're here talking about things that matter. If you subscribe to this channel, that's why you subscribe to this channel. Because you want to be a part of things that matter. And these end days and times, who got time to argue about the silliness? Those two idiots, Dowell and Jennings, between the two, I looked at their number. They have over a half a million subscribers between the two of them. And that's what them idiots are arguing about. Demons arguing about demon doctrine. I'm not saying that some of the stuff they're saying is true or not, but what they're arguing about has nothing to do about anything that's really relevant in these last days. But they're taking a particular pleasure, and they found a little audience, little baby seals who clapping, clapping. Now where's my fish, please? Come out from among them, be ye separate, says Abba Yah. Touch not the uncleanness of them. Learn not the ways of the heathens, for their ways are vain. Vain. Jeremiah chapter 10, 1 through 4. Well, let's get back on assignment here. Verse 7. And Moses listened to Yahuwah, and Moses listened to all that Yahuwah had commanded him. Matter of fact, let me go back to verse 5. We had 79 and 5, book of Jasher. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, go and return to Egypt, for all those men that sought your life are dead. And you shall speak unto Pharaoh to send the children of Israel from his land. This is about to happen right now again, brother, the second Exodus. Are you ready? Sisters, are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. What you doing? Are you ready in your mind? Or are you ready? Because there's a difference. Who are you? Why don't we know you? Why don't we see you? Who are you hiding from? Talking to you too, brothers. And Yahuwah showed him to do signs and wonders in Egypt before the eyes of Pharaoh and the eyes of the subjects, in order that they might believe that Yahuwah had sent him. I mean, brothers and sisters, this is where it gets exciting, like a strong breeze. Hallelujah. Watch this. And I want us to be very mindful of this. Excuse my tone, because y'all just kind of gave me like a booster. Guess I can say that word, right? Good booster, not the other one. But look at this again. Joshua 79, hallelujah. Joshua 79, verse 6. And Yahuwah showed him to do signs and wonders in Mizraim, in Egypt, before the eyes of Pharaoh and the eyes of the subjects, in order that they might believe that Yahuwah had sent him. Brothers and sisters, if you're doing any kind of so-called signs or wonders, or you're doing anything to get certain powers on your own, you're in sorcery, you are in idolatry. Abba Yah is the one who's supposed to give you that direction. You're not supposed to be over there doing your own thing, is what your brother is saying. Is what Abba Yah is telling me. That's how we got caught up in all of this occultism. Doing things on our own and then putting Abba Yah in it. Brothers and sisters. That's not the way that works. It's the opposite. The cart doesn't lead the horse leads the cart. You don't lead Abba Yah to what he is asking of you. He leads you. When it comes down to things as far as, what we would consider miracles and wonders, prayers. We go to him and then he comes back to us, not the other way around. We don't tell him and then wait for him to listen to us. Or get into, again, you heard me say it in the beginning of this message, using the heathen's methodology, religion, theology, to go before a sovereign Alua, under the guise that, well, I can do it because if Moshe can do it, what makes Moshe any better than us? Well, might want to go ask Aaron and Miriam about what happened with that theology. See where that got them. Yes, we seek Yahuwah, but then we wait. We don't go to the sciences, the religions, the occultism, doing things on our own initiative and then claiming our Yah sent me. Let me read this to you one more time. Take it in. Open up your heart. Get out of your feelings. We talked about that earlier. Your emotions are going to lead you wrong. Not Solomon said there's a way that seems right to you, but it's going to cause your destruction. Let your brother help you. Get out of your feelings. Again, get out of your feelings and let Yah use your brother to help you. Men and women we're speaking to. And Yahuwah showed him to do signs and wonders. In Egypt, before the eyes of Pharaoh, in the eyes of the subjects, in order that he might believe that Yahuwah had sent him. This was not about man. It was not about Moshe. This was about Yahuwah. Anything that you're doing, it should be about Yahuwah when it comes down to signs and wonders, powers, authority. Especially when it comes down to the darker things, the demonic world. And some of our people are dabbling in that stuff, and they don't realize that, Satan is right there over their head, egging them on. The demons. Some of them are using, again, this artificial intelligence. And they don't think that this is for the advancement of themselves and their people. And quite frankly, it's just the opposite. Turn your children into cyborgs. You know what a cyborg is? A robot. Child don't even know how to say his name, but yet it can navigate through a tablet. And you over there plodding them on, again, like the little seals. Some of us, not everybody. I'm not talking to you if this does not apply to you, but if it does apply to you, again, it's time to walk away from arrogance and pride when the truth comes to your door. Pray about it. You'll be surprised. It's a lot more beneficial to you to hear it than not to hear it. Running away is just an indicator that you're not ready for the truth. And if you're not ready for the truth, then how can you claim to hear Yahuwah? When he is truth. Verse 7, and Moses hearkened to Yahuwah, and Moses hearkened to all that Yahuwah, all, I like that word all, means not the part he liked, not the part he agreed with, all of what he said. Let me mark it too. All that Yahuwah had commanded him. That's what a servant does. A servant of Yahuwah hearkens or listens to all that Yahuwah tells them. And they don't worry about how they feel about it. How they feel about it is just a feeling. They get over it and they obey. They don't let their feelings get in the way. What they say in the workplace and corporate, they trust the process. And Moshe hearkened to all that Yahuwah had commanded him, and he returned to his father-in-law and told him the thing that Ruel had said, and returned to him, and Ruel said unto him, go in peace. Of course he's going to say that, because he realized he getting away with this, Yah would have destroyed him. Yah used him, to hold Moses back because it wasn't time yet for the people. The people had not, shown enough of remorse. So a lot of stuff we're going through, a lot of stuff some of you are going through, some of us are going through because we haven't showed the proper amount of remorse. We're still doing what we want to do. We're still over there, saying we love Yahuwah, but we over there in the New Testament. If you're following this channel, go look in. I think I pinned it. If I had pinned it, but it's talking about. You've heard me talk about the Gospel of Mark and the Gospel of Luke. You've heard me talk about them and saying that neither one of these men had any relationship with Yahushua. Yet somehow or another they knew what he did. They knew all about him enough to write a biography of his life. And they never met the man if he was amongst men. I use the word if. Maybe, maybe not. And it says clearly that what they wrote is probably not true. But you think that moved our people? They're going to go right over there and teach out of it anyway. Quote out of it anyway. Why? Even if they know it's not true and you still do it, what does that say about you? When you know it's not true and you still do it, what does that say about you? Once it's been exposed as a lie, why would you keep believing it? Why would you want to have anything to do with anything that's even associated with it, the other books? What does that say about yourself? So that's why you need the truth. That's why you need to be like Moshe. All of us obey all of his commandments. Because we obeyed all of his commandments, we would know that he would not have given a new promise. His word was sovereign. He's not a man that he should lie, or the son of man that he should repent. If he said it, shall he not do it? That's Numbers 23 and 19, correct? Thou shalt not add unto his word or take away. Deuteronomy. That's in our Torah. 4 and 2, 4 and 3. Deuteronomy. If you add to his word anything to or take away, you are a liar. That's Proverbs 30 and 5. I don't understand the argument anymore. Except you want to be deceived. Except that you're okay with knowing that Abba Yah says that, what is that, in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 20, verse 5? He said, if you serve any other Elohim, you hate him. So if you're in Buddhism and Hinduism and Judaism, Islam, any of those other religions, Christianity included, he says you hate him. Because all of them have God-like figures that they worship. And teach men to do so. Verse 8. And Moshe rose up to go to Egypt, and he took his woman and his sons with him. And he was at the end of the road, and the angel of Yahuwah came down and sought an occasion against him. And the angel wished to kill him on account of his firstborn son, because he had not circumcised him, and had transgressed the covenant of Yahuwah, the covenant that Yahuwah had made with Abraham. If you know, he had two sons. The first one he didn't circumcise. The second one he did. As a matter of fact, he only circumcised the second one because his wife reminded him the importance, or his woman reminded him. Let me say that correct. His woman reminded him of the importance of it. And for all of those out there talking about you don't need to help me, yes you do. This woman was the difference between Moses getting to the place where he needed to be or not. If Zipporah had not done what she had done, that angel was coming to kill him. Even though Abba Yah had given him the assignment. You can't take anything unholy into what's holy, brothers and sisters. You can't take anything, you can't mix the religions of men with Yahuwah. You can't mix the new covenant with the Tanakh. That's mixing unholy with holy. Because he didn't authorize it. It's not from him and from the gods of this world. All religions are. And all of their doctrine. All of their books. Quran, Tumad, or all of it. The Tumad, whatever they call that book, the Tumad. All of them. Many others. All of those books. That's why you need to get rid of them if you have them in your possession. In your home. Burn them. Throw them away. Come to think of it, I think I got a copy of the Quran around here somewhere. It's going into the trash can as soon as I get off this call. And no, I'm not sending it to anyone. I'm not going to send paganism or idolatry to your house as I eliminate it from my presence. Not going to happen. And you should feel the same way. Verse 10. For Moshe had hearkened, for Moshe had hearkened to the words of his father-in-law, which he had spoken to him, not to circumcise his firstborn son. See, the heathen taking direction from the heathens. That's why he said, don't let anyone that's not of your kin, your blood, be in charge of you. These heathens have led us astray on more than one. You got these heathens now telling us it don't take all of that. You know, he's for everybody. You know, he don't care nothing about that. You don't have to keep the Shabbat. You don't have to do this and you don't have to do that. And what is he telling us? And many of our people are listening. And right now you're sick. You're not sure of yourself. You're depressed. You're running all over the place, confused. Fearful of everything, running when nothing is chasing you, all in your mind. Hate the truth. Couldn't sit down and follow along for an hour and 25 minutes if your life depended on it, some of them. You share this video with them, and I'm not saying this for self-edification. I'm just telling you they wouldn't do it. Many of you don't share the video because you know they're not going to listen. You know I'm right. They're not going to sit there, brother, and listen to no hour and 25. But they can sit there and watch a Harry Potter for 3-hour movie. Harry Potter movie for 3 hours, I'm sorry. And many others, I might add. They can watch series. They can binge watch a series 2 days without getting up other than to pee, eat, and poop. But they can't sit still for 120 minutes, 126 minutes and claim to be children and lovers and honorable men and women before Abba Yah. Make it make sense. How can two walk together except they agree? If I can spend hours and hours following the heathen movies and programs or whatever it is, they have ball games included. But when it comes down to following Abba Yah's messages and teachings, I don't have the time for that. Then who are you walking in agreement with? Surely not Abba Yah. Because you would definitely give him at least the equal time that you would give to the heathens programs. And you know that's full of lies and witchcraft and sorcery. But again, sometimes you need to do, when you start doing meditation, meditation is medication. Look inside. Ask yourself the real questions. Why can't I sit down and listen to a message for an hour and 20 minutes? When I have, available time to do so. Why can't I do it? What's stopping me from doing it? So these are questions that, these, again, go to the other channels and tell me if this is what you're hearing from them. I'm not encouraging you to go over there. I'm telling you. They're so busy talking about themselves, it's not even funny. They don't give a damn about you other than, keep coming back because, maybe they're monetized and that's how they make their money too. Sure, they have their reasons, but it's not you. You can believe that. You're just a number for them. Over here, you're a brother and you're a sister. Over here, you matter. That's why we teach the way we teach here. And we don't bite the hand that feeds us over here. Brother Adrian has made a comment to me yesterday. Said, you don't muzzle the mouth that traded out the coin, my brother. Because I was thanking him, for his kindness and remembering, to be a blessing to your brother. Let's say it that way. Over there, it's about them. It's not about us. Over here, it's about us. And damn sure not about them. Other than just a passing thought to remind you they're wolves in sheep's clothing. Let us go on. And Moshe went up to, drop down to verse 10, 79 and 10. And Moshe had hearkened, had listened to the words of his father-in-law, which he shouldn't have done. Taking them, again, brothers and sisters, run around here, taking direction from these heathens, and we're thinking that somehow or another, it's okay because y'all loved everybody. All right, you better quit. Well, they say they love Yah. Yeah. How can they love who they don't know? And how can they know who they don't obey? Not rocket science. Pretty simple. Reasoning. Logic. Perpetual hatred they have towards our people. And the few that don't have it are still arrogant enough not to obey the commandments. Most of that few. But a rare few of those few. And they'll be the ones who Yah will spare at judgment. But because of their obedience, not because of their words. For Yahuwah had hearkened, for Moses had hearkened unto the words of his father-in-law, which he had hearkened means listen, which he had spoken to him, and not circumcised his firstborn son. Therefore he circumcised him not. And Zipporah saw the angel of Yahuwah seeking an occasion against Moses, and she knew this thing was for owing. She knew that the cause of this thing was for him not having circumcised her son Gershom. And Zipporah hastened and took a sharp rock stone that was there, or a knife, and she circumcised her son and delivered her man. She delivered her man. Remember Esther? Remember Abigail? Remember Deborah? Remember Judith? For all of you brothers out there talking about they have no place but to sit out in the church and shut up. That's Christianity 101 for you. For all you sisters over there who want to serve your Jesus and your Paul, well, that's what Paul told her. Tell you shut your mouth. Sit down and shut up. If you got something to say, wait till you get home and say it. You know the scriptures over there. And then you fight it by saying, oh, Joel said in the last days your sons and daughters will prosper because you don't want me to talk. Yeah, right. Maybe somebody needs to circumcise some of our sisters' minds so they can come out from these heathens and the heathens' religions. Even the Israelite heathens teach a religion. But this woman took the initiative. She saved Moses. Let's be clear. Zipporah saved Moses' life. Oh, again. She did it for the 10 years he was imprisoned. And now she's doing it in front of a mighty angel sent by Yahuwah. Because Moses, whatever he's doing, he's not taking action. Remember I talked about being inactive? Thinking that somehow or another that's going to get you where you're trying to go before Abba Yah Yahuwah? He's going to redeem you because you're doing nothing but believing. I'm sure Moses wasn't questioning the commandments of Yahuwah, but he was standing there doing absolutely nothing, about to get probably his head chopped off, and this woman jumped up, took the initiative, and took care of business. She saved Moshe, and she saved her son. It's there. From the angel of Yahuwah. Verse 13. And Aaron and Aram, the brother of Moshe, and Aram, the son of Aaron, the brother of Moshe, was in Egypt walking at the riverside on that day. And Yahuwah appeared to him in that place and said to him, go now towards Moshe in the wilderness. And he went and he met him in the mountain of Elohim, and he kissed him or hugged him. Friendly kiss. Greet one another with a friendly kiss. He hugged him, kissed him. Again, where's Aaron? Where he's supposed to be, but he's listening. So when Abba Yah tells him to do something because he's listening, brothers, sisters, he's not in rebellion, he goes. But he didn't go before Abba Yah told him to go. But when Yahuwah gave him confirmation to go, he went. Talking about Aaron now. Moses' older brother by 3 years. When you hear Abba Yah's voice, harden not your heart. He's talking to many of our brothers and sisters, and we're fighting him. I don't agree with that. I don't do that. I ain't doing that. I don't care about that. I don't know. That's not my responsibility, or whatever it is. You're fighting with Yahuwah when he's talking to you, when he's telling you to do what you don't want to do or afraid to do. Now fear has dominion over you, and now you can't hear Abba Yah's voice. Fear is a friend, but being afraid is your enemy. But fear can be an enemy if not handled properly as well. We're teaching. We're teaching right now. We're in the classroom, brothers and sisters. And I'm going to say right here, we're not going to get through this. Because, brothers and sisters, we're at verse 15, and this goes down to verse 56. So we will be revisiting this on tomorrow, Yah willing, first day. These heathens call Sunday. But let's go a little bit farther. And Aaron, verse 15, and Aaron lifted up his eyes, and he saw Zipporah, the woman of Moshe, and her children. And he said unto Moses, who are these with you? He had never met them. Remember, Aaron was still in Egypt, while Moses was the Cushite king when he was imprisoned. They were separated. Remember when Moses, killed the rapist for raping one of those heathens who raped one of our Israelite daughters, if you recall. Moses had left, but Aaron was still down in Goshen. I'm sure during the works, that the Levi was the only one that you brothers and sisters may know. The other tribes were imprisoned by Pharaoh because they sold their souls for bread. They cared more about the things of this world than the work of Abba Yah. The Levites didn't. They were still walking free. But they didn't walk away from their people because Yah don't tell his leadership to walk away. He don't tell the shepherd to walk away from the sheep. We're here to the end. The shepherd puts his life on the line for the sheep. Now the shepherd known to if you know anything about sheep herding and shepherds, what they do, they walk around with a big rod in their hand. They fight off wolves and any other kind of wild animal. Even if that means they have to put their life on the line for it. David told us that when he said what? When he gave his testimony to Saul about what his courage. I fought off to his brothers and those who were questioning his willingness to stand up against the giant Goliath. What he told them? I fought off a bear and I fought off a lion. He didn't leave the sheep and run away. He put his life on the line. Every shepherd of Abba Yah will never run away from Yah's people. Never going to happen. People may run away from us, but we're not going to run away from them. Not when it comes down to Yahuwah's work, we're not. We'll be here. We already know, smite the shepherd, sheep going to get scattered. Our job is to protect Yah's sheep. And the sheep just means you belong to him, brothers and sisters. Doesn't make you a lesser anything. You let the marketer tell you that sheep is just as important as that shepherd. That shepherd come over to market no sheep, that shepherd will have no job. The days of a shepherd will be ended. And maybe his life too, depending on whose sheep they were. Who those sheep belonged to. Not a game. Being a shepherd is not for the weak of heart. You don't have compassion, it's okay. It's not your role. Find something else. But you need to be accounted for and you need to be accounted. Accounted for and accountable to the work. Verse 16. And Moshe said unto him, they are my woman and my sons, which Elohim gave me in Midian. And the thing grieved Aaron on account of the woman and her children. Because Aaron like, hey man, why are you bringing these people into this hostility? You understand what you about to get into here? See, a wise man surrounds himself with wise counsel. That's what, again, all this isolation is I'm by myself, brother. I just need some time for myself. Okay, you're not very smart. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it right there. Well, you're not as smart as you can be. I'm going to say it that way. So don't be offended. Stop the offense. Woe unto those who are easily offended. Stop being offended. You're just not being as wise as you can be. I was talking to another brother, one of our dear brothers. I want to say his name, Brother Sharif. And, I was sharing with him yesterday about how proud it just makes me inspired, how he's always open to knowledge. And he said, well, how can I grow and do better with myself and my family if I'm not that way? I'm like, what an intelligent thing to say. He gets it. He gets it. And yes, Yah is blessing him because he gets it. All people perish for a lack of knowledge. How are you going to get knowledge if you're isolated? Don't want no one talking to you. Don't want to talk to anybody. Just leave me alone. Me and my Bible. If it was just about that, he wouldn't have sent the messengers. He would not have sent watchmen. He would not have sent prophets. So Aaron is giving counsel to his brother, as a wise man or a wise brother should. Iron sharpens iron. And Zipporah returned with her children, and they went to the house of Reuel, and returned there until the time arrived when Yahuwah had visited his people and brought them forth from Israel from the hand of Pharaoh. See, there's a time, brothers and sisters, where you have to put your family on the side to do Yah's work. And daughters and mothers out there, wives out there, you need to understand that when that time comes. And not stressing them out and giving them a hard time. You need to be humble, meek, cooperative, but attentive, assertive, contributing. But sometimes your contributing is just getting out of the way. Other times, as we read earlier, it's taking charge of a situation momentarily. Because something needs to get done or people going to die. It's a good helpmate or helper. But no puffed up, no arrogance is allowed. Just because he used you, don't make you superior to him. It just means you are a blessing. Verse 20. And Moshe and Aaron rose up early the next day. Hallelujah. And they went to the house of Pharaoh. And they took in their hands the rod of Yahuwah. So when we go to do Yah's work, that's what I'm saying. See, another word for the rod, some people call it a sword. I call it the scyther. See, we out here some of us are trying to fight battles, and we're not spending any time before Yahuwah. And I'm gonna tell you something. See, when that flood comes in, and that storm comes, you're gonna get knocked on your butt and taken under the water. Because you're not in it. You're not doing your part. Or you're doing your part and not understanding that your part is more than just study. Your part is study, do, study, do, study, do, study, do, study, do. Learn, administer. Learn, administer. Learn, administer. Administer what? Whatever he puts in your hand. That's what. Whatever he assigns you to be doing, as long as it lines up with the Torah, you should be executing. Learn, administer. Learn, administer. Learn, administer. Do what you are learning. Otherwise, it's the equivalent of putting money in bags with holes in it. Casting pearls to pigs who are not going to appreciate any kind of valuable jewelry. You're like a jewel in a pig's snout when you get the knowledge and you do nothing with the knowledge. but sit on it. It serves no purpose for you. Well, it brings me closer to Yah. Well, the Yah has work for you to do. Are you doing the work? Because your fruit matter. You know a tree by the fruit that it bears? Solomon said that. You put seed in the ground, you get blessed. But you got to plant the seed. You have to be doing it. If you want to grow lettuce, you better plant lettuce seed. Maybe one day you'll be blessed with lettuce or tomatoes or pickles or onions. Well, cucumbers, not pickles, whatever. Salvation versus damnation. That's one heck of a fruit. But to get salvation, you got to plant fruit. You got to, you got something to do. What's in your hand? Because we see what Moshe has in his hand. Abiyah planted it, but he grabbed it. And seemed like he hadn't let it go. He understands the value of relationship and what's expected in that relationship, clearly. Let us continue on. And they came to the king's gate, 2 young lions. And when they came to the king's gate, 2 young lions were confined there with iron instruments. And no person went out or came in from before them unless those who the king ordered to come. And when the conjurers came, the conjuring, y'all remember the movie Conjuring? They had conjurers. A conjurer is someone who, these are witches. This king had witches surrounding his palace. Well, they were full of it, but just like churches got them all, they call them elders and and bishops and apostles and prophetess and prophets. And they're all doing magic. They're healing in there. They're casting out devils in there. The devil just go to a far place and come right back. It don't stay gone. But they do have power. That's why many of our people got caught up. They go like, well, he did heal my mama. He did. Did she stay healed? If you don't mind me asking for a friend. Did it come back? Whatever she was healed from, or he was healed from. They can do miracles, brothers and sisters. I don't know. We get caught up in that stuff. Well, no, if they can do a miracle, it must be even no. Satan has power to empower his. The demons, the watchers can AI. We talking about it. That's the magical powers. Some physical, some supernatural. Some you can see with the eyes, some you can't. But don't anybody tell you that they can't heal in them places, that those demons they pray to don't bless them. Are you kidding me? Buddhism, for example, you go to any nail shop, Asian nail shop, they're very prosperous. You see a little Buddha altar sitting right in there, and they're putting stuff on that altar to that Buddha, and that Buddha is blessing their businesses. You can find the same thing, where Arabs are, and many others. Hell, Christians too, they might add. Oh, they get blessed. It's just not Yahuwah. They think it's Yahuwah. Or they think it's whatever. Well, they don't think. They know it's their gods. But sometimes as believers, Israel, we sometimes, don't always understand who's taking up that sacrifice and then delivering results. But then we're looking around and saying, well, wait a minute now. Wait. I thought the blessing of Abiyah making a man rich and added no sorrow with it. Where's my sorrow? Well, I don't have no sorrows. Okay, remember, we're 3 components here, brothers and sisters. Let me say it to you again. Brother Adrian, write this down. We are made of 3 components. To be whole in Israel, to see the true power of Elohim in our lives, we have to have physical wellness, mental wellness, and spiritual wellness. All 3 makes up the complete blessing of Abiyah that maketh a man rich internally and added no sorrows with that. And Yah is capable of doing all three, I might add. Increasing us in our relationship towards him, increasing us in our knowledge about what's going on around us, called wisdom, and physical strength, so that we're able to do the things that he has called upon us to do. And remember, age has nothing to do with it, because these men that you're talking about right now, both of them are pushing 80 plus. And neither one of them lived another 40 years. So let's not get that twisted. They're hitting the prime of their life and they're 80 something. If Moshe is 80 or 78, however age he is at this thing, Aaron is at least 80, 81. 3 years older than his brother. And if Yah is not a respecter of person, my sister, my brother, if he did it for them, he could do it for you. The question is, what level of obedience is there? And if there is something in the way, have you identified what's in the way and removed it? Sometimes, brothers, there can be little subtle things that's causing us to be accursed. Allowing a heathen to advise us. Like Ruel did to Moshe when it came down to his son. It could be, having an artifact in the house. A little statue or something. A little ornament. Something that you bought at some little shop. Some smoke shop. Some, devices store. Where they sell all these little, different little, crystals and things of that nature. Some novena candle or candle, whatever. Could be the very thing that's hindering you in one of those three areas. If not all three. The blessing of Abba Yah is the blessings of Abba Yah. If you're sitting down, how you say? How you say? Poor, broke, and disgusted. I think that's the way that goes. Poor, broke, and disgusted. Then that means Abba Yah is not with you. Something is wrong. That doesn't mean he doesn't care about you. I said he's not with you. Something is wrong. He was with Israel, remember, brothers, and they were still in bondage. So let's not get this twisted. Oh, brother, he was with them too, but he didn't take the bondage from them. He never forgot them. Moses was in the prison for 10 years. He hadn't forgotten Moses. But he wasn't blessing him in there either. I mean, he wasn't seeing the blessing of Abba Yah. He was providing for him. He was giving him provisions. Different. When our people were in the wilderness 40 years, he fed us angel food. That was a provision. That was not a blessing. I think some of our brothers and sisters are confusing provisions with blessings. I got enough. I'm good. I'm grateful for what I have. When Abba Yah is saying, if you would just trust me, you could have so much, much more. If you would just try a little bit harder. To obey is better than to sacrifice, brothers and sisters. We've heard that many times. To obey is better than any sacrifices. To obey is better than any sacrifice, any kind of sacrifice. There's no sacrifice, no altar, no nothing you can build that replaces obedience. As a matter of fact, if you're not in obedience, all that stuff you have is just another form of the occult. Just because you say it isn't doesn't make it isn't. Just because you say it is not does not make it, truth. What does the book say to us? I'm going to give you some more. 2 Chronicles. 9 and 16. It says what? The power of Abba Yah Yahuwah goes around the whole earth looking to show himself strong, not weak, not impotent, not emasculated, to show himself strong, just the opposite, in who? In those whose hearts are perfect towards him. That's without respect of person. So what is the strength of Abba Yah? Please don't tell me you think it is in, in somebody's impotence. That's Christianity. When I'm weak, I'm strong. See? That's not Abba Yah's word. Abba Yah said, no, I show myself strong in those who will love me. When you love me, I'm going to show you how strong I am in your life when you love me. I'm looking for you. You're on my to-do list. You're a priority to me, is what he's saying. And no, you're not a priority just because you think so. You have to have evidence to reflect that. Where's your proof? Where are your receipts? You own it? Where's the deed? Show it to all of us. We want to see it. Because you should possess it. Because he said you would. If you meet the criteria. Where's your victory? You're supposed to have it, brothers and sisters. Every last one of us who love and obey and keep Abba Yah's commandments. That's his word, not mine. From my mouth to your ears. Yeah, I'm quoting you. But these conjurers, these witches, sorcerers, they had these lions were in working with them. And that's why I'm telling people, like people think these people with these pets and these animals, that somehow these relationships are innocent relationships. Brothers and sisters, men have been interacting with animals and doing all kind of wicked things with animals since the beginning of time, damn near. You will be surprised what's going on with man and beast. Even in the book of Leviticus, did he not tell us when he said, first of all, we're not supposed to be sleeping with that same kind. Then he goes right below saying, don't sleep with no beast. What does sleep mean? Sex with them. Power with them. Creating uneven covenants with them. Treating them like human beings. Not speaking against your pet. I'm just telling you, I'm talking to you. And making sure that you manage that relationship. Because the enemy can come in real quick and create confusion. Maybe not in you, but maybe it's creating confusion in that animal. That's hindering you. And you can't see it. Because these conjurers were working with these lions. Let's read on. And they withdrew the lions by their incantations, by their spiritual powers. And they brought them unto the king. And Moshe hastened and lifted up the stick upon the lions, and he loosed them. And Moshe and Aaron came into the king's house. So what it was, these sorcerers were in these covenant relationship with these animals. And these animals would be doing whatever these sorcerers had these animals to do. And they was training these animals to get outside of their natural behavior. Like you see going all the time with people and these animals. And they think that's normal. They don't think that's some... Okay, let me stop. Because I don't have a subscriber left. I keep this going down this road. Not that that's important. I'm just not trying to run your way. I'm trying to again, bring out some things that maybe you not have considered. And maybe people, some of you may be listening and never even thought for a second and thought about that. But let's do this. I'm going to come back to this, and then we're going to stop at, Yah willing, I'm going to stop at verse 28, okay? But watch, come over. Let's go over to the book of Leviticus. In our Torah, so you know where I'm going. Go to the book of, in our Torah, the book of Leviticus chapter 18. Leviticus chapter 18. And come to me, let's go to verse 22. We're going to read 22 and 23. All right? Matter of fact, we may go down to 25. We're going to start at verse 22. He says, you shall not have sex with the same kind, same species, same gender. Because it is an abomination. Verse 23. Neither shall you have sex with any beast to defile yourself therein. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lay down thereunto. It is confusion. Now he's telling us about the uneven relationship between men and these animals. He says it's an abomination. It wouldn't be here, brothers and sisters, if they were not doing it. Because you go to the beginning of the same book, Leviticus, the beginning of this chapter. Now remember what I just said. Just so you know that this is facts, and our people were practicing this, and there were other nations okaying this and condoning this. And then our people joined right in with them. Things that our ancestors would have never done, and now our people doing it because the heathens are doing it. The heathen says okay, so we started doing it. Some of our people. Because verse 18, chapter 1 reads as thus. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Yahuwah now, speaking to the children of Yasharel, us, and say unto them, I am Yahuwah. And after the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein you dwelt, you shall not do after the doings of the land of Canaan, where I shall bring you, and you shall not do it, neither shall you walk in their ordinances. In other words, we're not supposed to be following any of their heathen custom laws and traditions. And then you read a little bit farther down, what was one of the things they were doing? Sleeping with animals. Having sex with them, to be clear. You know, there are different kinds of sex. And y'all know what I'm talking about. Got children around, so we don't have to get into the darkness of it. It ain't just, what we would call, the natural way. There are a lot of unnatural ways. The heathens have taught it to us, and many of us, some of our people even sing about it, make songs about it, celebrate it. And they damn sure encourages it. Talking about those other methods. And then they go over to the heathen's book and say the bedroom is undefiled, so you can do anything in the bedroom. Wow. That's not what the book says. There's standards with that. But I want to look at just a couple, again, Leviticus 18:23. Neither shall you lay down, which means, intercourse, with any beast. That means any kind of beast. To defile yourself, to make yourself filthy when you do it. And Yah is not going to touch you. He will not have any relationship with you. You're defiled. You're unclean now. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereunto, for it is confusion. Defile not yourself in any of these things, for in all of these things the nations defiled, which I cast out from before you. And the land is defiled. Therefore I do visit the iniquity, their wickedness upon them. And the land itself vomits out her inhabitants. Vomits, throw up, regurgitate. That's what Abba Yah thinks about some of these behaviors that are going on. And this is what these conjurers were doing. They were doing all these weird things with these animals. We saw it with Esau's son when he saw the beast that had the top of him was as a beast, and he had human legs. You remember, brothers and sisters? It's written in the book of Jasher. How do you think that happened? You read Jasher chapter 4. They said they were mixing species. You think that wasn't artificial intelligence, high level knowledge, teaching them how to do that? And that was way back, in the days of Noah. And it's here again. And we think it's something new. We're embracing it. Not understanding that the same people, the people who embraced it back then, were destroyed. Well, what are you saying, brother? I don't know. Maybe we really need to seriously be okay with coming off the grid. Learn how to interact and communicate naturally with one another. Build, alliances with each other. Because if you're dependent upon their system, then when their system go down, you're going down with it. That applies to all of us. And don't let anybody tell you, convince you, oh, it's just going to be you and me and me and you and me and you and okay. And did Abba Yah say that? Jasher 79 verse 22. And Meshach hastened, and he lifted up the stick or his rod upon the lions, and he loosened them. You see, no matter what these demons can do, Abba Yah is stronger than these demons. Yeah, these demons have magic. They can bring about things. They can imitate. And when I say imitate, it ain't artificial, brother. I said that in the beginning of this message. Artificial intelligence is nothing artificial about it, artificial intelligence. They already said right now the doggone intelligence, or what is that one, that DFG-GPT is 1,000 times smarter than any human being alive. That's 100% of the human beings alive. DFG-GPT is already 1,000 times smarter than him or her. And if this world was to last another 25 years, so if you got a little baby boy, girl, born recently, by the time they reach 25, it's going to be 1 billion times smarter than your child. You think you'll have need for your child? Maybe one here, maybe one there, but not most of them. This is the hard conversation nobody wants to talk about, so I'm going to talk about it. Well, they're talking about it, but they're talking about it in segments, pieces. I'm a little bit over here. We're going to talk about it in completeness here. That's why you're here. That's why I trust that you trust your brother. Because I'm going to tell you the truth about it. That's why you stand with your brother. And it's Abba Yah's will that the truth be told. Otherwise, I wouldn't share it, wouldn't tell it. Like I said before, I appreciate the blessings of my brothers and sisters who do, share with me, whether it be resources, a piece of bread. It's much appreciated. But it's not enough to make a living on, not yet. But Yah got me. He surrounded me with just enough. And I thank you all for that. But at the end of the day, this is Yah's will. This is Yah's work. And I'm going to do it. I do it from a cardboard box, if that's what's asked of me. Verse 24. Verse 23. And the lions came with them with joy, and they followed them rejoicing as dogs rejoice over his masters when they come from the field. The king, these witches and warlocks, when they saw Abba Yah's power against their power, they were like, what the? How did he do that? These lions are supposed to be eating men, not supposed to be running around like a little puppy, looking for, his master, to fetch, throw a ball so he can go fetch it. But that's the power over Abba Yah over the enemies of our people, brothers and sisters, including the witches, warlock, witchcrafts, neuromancers, divinators, conjurers, enchanters, etc. No weapon formed against us shall prosper if we in obedience to Abba Yah's laws, statutes, and commandments. None. Zero. But we have to be where we can be, or we have to be where we're supposed to be if we want to see Yah's strength where it needs to be or where we need it to be. We have to be where we're supposed to be if we want to see Abba Yah's strength where we are. Otherwise, you might have some power, you might have some successes, but I can assure you it's not going to pass through the fire. When the day of fire comes, it's going to burn. And you right along with it. If that's all you got. And saying you have Yahuwah and not demonstrating that with your everyday behavior is self-deception, which is the worst type of deception. There's got to be a tie-in of what you say versus what you do. There's got to be a code of honor. If Yah tells you to do it, or Yah sends the messenger to tell you to do it, you hearken, you listen. You don't get rebel. Well, he didn't tell that to me. He didn't because he didn't want to tell it to you. He told the teller to tell you. 8 billion people on this planet. Can you imagine Abba Yah trying to talk to 8 billion? I know that's the heathen. But it's just like Israel. Millions, hundreds of millions. What do you think? He's going to go tell 100 million people what thus says Abba Yah? You can't tell 5 people something and come right back to the same 5 and say, what did I say? Without all 5 of them giving you a different variation, a spin on what you said, adding something to it. Abba Yah calls those out his messengers. He prepared them and he gives them the word because he knows they can deliver the word to you. Because he wants you to get the word uncorrupted. He's there to help. And so are we. If you let us. Verse 24. And when Pharaoh saw this thing, he was astonished at it. And he was terrified at the report. For their appearance was like the appearance of the children of Yahuwah. See, these people know who we are. That's why whenever we come around them, you ever notice they kind of get a little weary? You can almost sense there's some type of intimidation with them, which caused them to become hostile towards us, defensive, mean. Because whether you like it or not, if you're an Israelite, you come with that power. But unfortunately, many of our people use that power to their own damnation, and the others just sit on their asses with the power, do nothing with it. But 1/3 of us, no, we know why he has given it to us, and we know he has given it to us to use it for the edification and the development and the growth of Israel. We understand why, in preparing for the world to come. Or in our preparation for the world to come. He's getting us ready. The 1/3. He's getting us ready. And if you're not doing anything now, why you think he'll bring you over there so you can continue doing nothing? But I talk to him every day. Yeah. So does Satan. Verse 25, and Pharaoh said to Moshe, what do you want? And he answered him saying, Yahuwah of the Hebrews has sent us to say to you, let my people go so they can serve me. And see, that's what Yahuwah is saying to us right now, brothers and sisters. So he's saying to men and women like myself to tell these heathens, whether they be melanated heathens or non-melanated heathens. He's telling them, let my people go. Release them from these churches, these synagogues, these temples, these mosque, whatever the damn Islam call their places of worship. He said, let them go. And I think I said churches. If I didn't, I want to double down on churches. Because that's the mainstay of Israel. Because that's exactly what Pharaoh wanted us to be, to serve them. That's why they created religion in the first place, brothers and sisters. To trap you, to separate you, to divide us from Abba Yah so we could not serve Yahuwah. And then some have come out and they brought their Christianics right out with them. Well, because they say, Abba Yah, whatever the hell they be saying over there, oh, we different. We the 144th called out, 12 tribes, prophets. Most of them are hardly literate. Yet they're the prophets. Even their headship are hardly literate. Listen to them. And they might be able to read the scripture, but they have no understanding of what it is they're reading. Whatsoever. So they attach it to somebody else say, and then they try to become mockers of the truth tellers to make themselves seem important. Because they got a bunch of little simple-minded followers who run behind them. Because they're looking for love, as the old saying, go in all the wrong places. See me, see me. Mutt and Jeff. Pharaoh rule is here still, brothers and sisters. It's time to come out so we can come and serve Yahuwah. If you're in anything other than the Torah, if you're following anything other than Abba Yah's Torah, if you're praying to any other entity other than Yahuwah, you are an idolater and your soul is in jeopardy. Pharaoh is still controlling you. And it's time for you to be obedient, reject it, come out, and serve the one sovereign Yahuwah Aloha, Alua. Verse 26. And when Pharaoh heard the words, he was greatly terrified before them. And see, now they know that we're saying we're the Israelites. Look how terrified they are. Trying to make us hate groups, scandalizing us, using little puppets like Stephen A. Smith to want to tell us about black on black crime all of a sudden. Seriously, Jason Whitlock, the little piggly wiggly looking little thing over there, constantly blaming us for everything and glorifying them for anything, the heathens, because he loved them just that much. Self-hating buffoon is what he is, with a big mouth. Yeah, you can tell him I said it. Send him this message. Matter of fact, tell him go to 2 minutes and 17. 2 hours and 17. That way he can clearly hear me call him a treacherous, lying, so-called Christian pig. Or Christian pig. Same thing. Both are abominable. Verse 26, when Pharaoh heard these words, he was greatly terrified before them. And he said to them, go today and come back to me tomorrow. So they're all about delay. Always about delay. See, that's the way the heathens operate. Y'all say do it. Well, let me think about it. Y'all say do it. Let me see about it. Y'all say do it. Okay. Let me pray about it. Y'all said do it. And you're saying let me pray about it. Seriously? Well, I want to make sure it's Yahuwah. Wait a minute. It was Yahuwah said do it. So what are you praying about? Whether or not you're going to obey it? Boy, you're in some tall weeds then. Better be careful. You're getting into the tall weeds. You're getting into the tall weeds with that mindset. The day you hear his voice, harden not your heart. That's what happened in the wilderness, and that's how many of our people were destroyed, and everybody over 20, except for 2, died there. Because when Yah told them to go to the land of milk and honey again, they started questioning Yah's direction for fear of what their eyes saw. They became afraid. And so they did nothing but complained. Whine, woe is me. And they were judged. Oh, later they got up the mustard and said, well, I'll go. Okay, I'm going to go. But it was too late. What did Proverbs say? In Proverbs 1, chapter 1, verse 22, he said, I'm going to laugh at you in your calamity. He said, when I killed, he said, I learned with a simple mind to love simplicity. He said, I've told you, I've given you knowledge, you rejected the knowledge, and now when your desolation and the hard times really come, and now you want to come to me, he said, no, I'm going to laugh at you, not having it. And this is not hate talk. This is just being honest. This is being transparent. This is truth. To save the 1/3, to save the few. And if it happens to be you, then so be it. Either way, nothing new under the sun. As he did it then, as he said it then, he says it now. I am Abba Yahuwah. I change not. Malachi 3 and 6. I'm going to stop right there, brothers and sisters, because it gets even more meaty from verse 27. Y'all willing, we're going to pick up at verse 27. There's some precepts that I have that's attached to this, and I think it's going to be very edifying for those of you who can find the time to come back to the channel on tomorrow. Okay? But I praise Yah for you, for the time that you have spent to me. Whether you agree or disagree with Yah's word, that's solely up to you. I'm just the messenger. If you have an issue, your issue is with the message. Your issue is not with me, although you may think it is. For those of you who claim it's me, I've been in the book where you should be. That being said, I want to say again to you, my brothers and sisters, Shabbat Shalom. Also want to thank again my brothers and sisters who have been kind enough, to sow into what I'm doing. It's much appreciated. And however you have sown, thank you very much. And I pray that Abba Yah puts it on your heart for you to continue to do so. That being said, brothers and sisters, Shabbat Shalom. And Yah willing, I'll see you tomorrow when we pick up on part 2 of this message. Shalom.